Good morning. Um, Man, have I been on a ride. Oh my god. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I just think that it's going to help a lot of people who are going through ascensions and stuck in a karmic loop. I've been stuck in a karmic loop. And I'm trying to figure it out because I'm working on the development of my dating app. Spellbound, that's going to use a biorhythmic algorithm to help you find that one of a kind. And with any scientist, they practice on their own selves first. All scientists experiment on themselves first. So I've been trying to use my love life and what I know about this prophecy to, put it into an algorithm for this dating app. And I've been giving it out about, now that I've ascended, and it's like the gods just went, no, get back down there. Get back down into the underworld and take a look at the pattern that you keep repeating because you can't get this algorithm right and you're not going to manifest the man of your dreams, the man from this prophecy, if you keep going walking back into the friggin' gates of hell voluntarily. If you want to find your angel, if you want to find your God, you're not going to find God down in hell. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. I'm speaking metaphorically. Hi, so I'm just going to put it all out there. Everybody knows I haven't had sex since 2015, though I was married to someone from 2017 to 2019, but he was incarcerated. We never got to have that side of our relationship, which will actually be handy when it's time to go for our divorce, because I can say, we never consummated our marriage. He left before that happened, and I was kind of left with, okay, well, so this means I've got to start, I start dating again. And my sons came to me and said, look, do you mind if you just don't? Because, we just really want a dad who's going to look after you when we leave home, and, all this sort of stuff that, even the kids that my kids are very smart. And they said, we want you to find the one, not anyone, basically. What my son said was, we don't want you to be a thought. So, do you mind if you just don't go out dating and just wait for the one? And I was like, I'm completely fine with that. So, I've spent that whole time working on myself, working on my body, losing weight, trying to I've had to build foundations and tear foundations down and build them up and tear them down and build them up so many times since then, trying to find my way. It's like the alpha wolf has to walk through the snow to clear the path for the pack to follow, so I've been doing that. I've been having to put my head down and just push through the snow to clear the path for everybody that has to follow me afterwards, so, and I do share everything. I put myself out there to show people how to deal with these ascensions, because creative empaths go through cycles in life that a lot of other people don't go through, um, for the fact that creative empaths suffer for their art. Like debilitating suffering, it can lead to depression and suicidal thoughts, and even paranormal activity and possessions, and perceived possessions. I call them dissension psychoses, and all that sort of thing, because when you're on your life's path, we all have challenges and choices to make, and how we choose to react to the things that happen to us will decide our fate. And because I've been trying to understand these multi-locational jumps that I do, I've been trying to work it out in my head how to explain it to people, because I can't do maths. How I'm able to see one thing that will fit specific, identical situations, multiple situations in life, either out in the world or in my personal life. Like, why do I keep repeating the same patterns in my friendships and my relationships? Why is it that these people come into my life, I give it everything I have to them, and then, like, the mask will slip and then I have to remove them. I understand that as a gatekeeper, as the karmic bloodline, as this, Scorpio, the ruler of karma and all that. I understand that that's my role. Like, I get it. I'm perfectly fine with that. But it's like, I'm still getting it wrong at 51. Really? Like, because I was getting it wrong with friends from childhood. I was getting it wrong with family members. Like, relationships were just like, it was like, oh my god, it was every relationship that I looked at, it just went the same way. Because it's like, how do I explain it? I'm a high priestess. My bloodline is high priestess. There are many women in my family who sit with people when they're dying. It's just something that Arab women and Māori women, Indigenous women and people of, like, the ancient cultures, the women, the alpha females of the family, the matriarchal female members. I'm the baby of the family, but like to nieces and nephews, and for the hierarchy of my bloodline, because my grandmothers were princesses and all that sort of thing, from royal houses. I have a matriarchy, but for some reason I was chosen to be the shaman and the high priestess of my family. And I'm not supposed to be. The baby is not supposed to be this position, but I was chosen. I get called by people all over the world when they're getting ready to die, or when they are in the midst of dying. They need me there to help them release their burdens. I reassure them, I explain to them how their death is going to go based on the life that they've lived, the things that they've confessed, the burdens they've released, the lessons they want to leave, all that sort of thing. And I help them record that, and I help them release their energetic burdens and loads, so that when they do cross over for their day of judgment, their soul is lighter, and then they have a higher chance of going to the afterlife. Or if it's children, or the innocent who are dying, people who have died with a pure heart or for pure intentions, um like soldiers on a battlefield and all of that, because they were, like a soldier that died protecting a school from being bombed, or like something like that. They call people like me, and I go to them and I sit with them, and I help them cross over. Because some people earn the right to have people like the women that I'm talking about there, because their bloodlines have done things that have earned them the honour to be given like a guardian to walk them to Isis, to walk them to the gates. They are assured safe passage, so to speak. And so when I go to them, because they are at the absolute highest vibration that a human living being can exist at, without actually being in spirit, being of pure consciousness, um, I have to meet them at that frequency, because I have to know everything about what they're thinking and feeling, and that in order to readjust and realign and recalibrate, you know, taking the sandbags off the hot air balloon, measuring it all out, the gases, the flames, that sort of thing, to make sure that when they ascend, it is done with the least amount of baggage for them to carry as they rise, to ensure that they, can fly off into the sunset, rather than, be grounded and stuck. Because when souls don't get released burdens, they can become trapped in the atmosphere. And in the very, very rare occasion where you have paranormal activity that is genuine, like a genuine trapped spirit, it is usually because they're stuck between the afterlife and the below worlds. Like, we're in the below worlds, the physical world. They get stuck between the physical world and the afterlife. They get trapped. They're energetically trapped, and it's usually because they either feared judgment, feared what was going to happen on the other side, where their death was so sudden and so tragic, so impactful. They didn't see it coming, like it left it, because we're all prepared for our death, but every now and then, intuition doesn't catch up in time. And the death can happen so suddenly and so unexpectedly that the shock leaves the impact. And but trapped spirits are very, 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 very rare. And they can be opened up and accessed by people who are resonating of the same frequency, because they're not dealing with the fact that they hate their job, or they're going through a divorce, or they're broke, or they're unhappy, or they're unfulfilled, or whatever. And that is especially the case with creative empaths, because 99.9% of creative empaths don't get to do the job that they love doing. They're doing the job they have to do because it pays the bills, and they're longing and yearning to actually just make money doing what it is that they love to do, which is like writing, or being an artist, or photographer, or fashion designer, or whatever it is that their medium is, musician, composer, designer, whatever. So I've been having to sit and figure all of this out, because it creates, when I see it in my head, if I could do maths, I would probably be able to write out like some sort of mathematic formula for it. But as of now, how I see it in my head, the only way I can describe it is, like like the game Trivial Pursuit, how you've got to put the coloured cheeses in the cheese wheel that's got the segments in it, right? Imagine that's a spinning wheel, and the centre is filled up with paint. And you spin the wheel, and then you release the bit in the middle, and the paint just goes ploosh, like all through the different segments, and it's all going to be there's going to be more paint in some segments than others, and the paint will spread, across the table and on the wall if the wheel is spun fast enough, that sort of thing. Now, if you look at karmic loops or multi-locational viewing, it's kind of like that. It's like, as the earth is spinning, as the universe is hurtling through the expansion of itself, with our solar system, and that hurtling through it like a massive sneeze, like like the drops of booger coming out of a massive sneeze. I'm kind of flying with it, catching snapshots and glimpses of things that essentially, because I keep making the same choices, I'm repeating the same patterns and the same people. So that means that of all the segments where there's white paint, that's me touching the same repeating the same pattern, putting the same energy into the same thing, some more energy, some less energy, depending on where I'm pulled gravitationally. And where I'm pulled gravitationally is all dependent on how much energy I allow the other person to penetrate my biorhythmic parameter or my biomagnetic parameter. And I keep repeating the same pattern. I've tried to get to know 4 men since 2019, and with the exception of one, I realized that I keep repeating the same, well, even with all 4 of them, I keep repeating the same pattern that I did with my husbands. And that was that I let them control me. I let them talk me into doing things that made me uncomfortable. I let them treat me a certain way where, even though I'm chaste, even though I pride myself on, being pure and having a pure heart and pure intentions, I was allowing myself to, I was treating the relationships the way I would have treated the relationships before I fell in love with the idea of being a wife and mum, which I met my first husband when I was 20, got married at 21. I knew the minute we got engaged that I was meant to be a wife and mum. All I've ever wanted to be my whole life is a wife and mum. If you ask anyone who knows me from my whole entire life, they'll say she was born to be a wife and mum. That's all I've ever wanted to do, is be a wife and mum. And yet I kept repeating the same patterns with the men I was selecting for the potential. Now I have to put my hand up and say I fully take full responsibility for the fact that I let the prophecy dictate a little bit more of the selection I was choosing and the men I was choosing to want to get to know, personally. And I still haven't even ascertained completely what the prophecy is talking about. I know what I know. My teacher, it's been drummed into my head. I know what I know. But I'm trying to make this algorithm for this dating app work. And it's almost like I was trying to, how do I explain it? Not force maybe force puzzle pieces in where I knew they didn't fit in some regards. But it's like I was so intent on trying to prove my algorithm right that I wasn't seeing that there were bits missing in the algorithm. And the only way I was going to see those missing pieces was for me to look back at my behavior in relationships and iron out the kink, like remove the matrix, like just be brutally honest with yourself and say, why do you keep allowing this to happen? Why do you keep doing this to yourself? You're better than this. You don't need to be acting like this. Like you have higher standards than this, so why are you lowering your standards? Just to see whether he's the one that fit the prophecy, that's going to fit the algorithm. That's ridiculous, because you're getting yourself hurt. You're getting yourself in situations where you're then having to back out of them, and you're going to take that energy to the people who are coming to you when they're dying, to the people who are coming to you when they're lost and they need help, and you're going to transfer that energy over. And you're the one that did the podcast on energy being transferable like a STD. So, what's going on, Debbie Lee? You need to look at this. So this is what I've been doing, because, And I'm sitting here eating my toast because I've had to completely rechange my diet as well. I've had to really go back to like a ground roots diet. I like my diet has just done a complete 180, like on every sense of the level, and I feel fantastic for it. It's blimmin' expensive though when you've got food allergies and that. Oof, but I mean, I don't have a choice, but I feel incredible. I've gone back to, it's almost like I've buried myself in the ground and just covered myself up with Papatuanuku's, loving soil, and it's allowed me to heal and regrow. If you put a potato in the ground, over time it will resprout and grow more potatoes. From one potato, you can grow more potatoes just by putting it in the ground. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. And then I'm just sitting here eating my toast, just going over like the last sort of few weeks, just thinking, what the hell just happened? Feeling like I've just been put in like the spin cycle of a bloody washing machine, and I've come out of it, and I've thought I've just come out of the underworld and I'm in the earth stage. So I've just gone through another ascension cycle. I've just come out of the underworld and now I'm in the earth stage, because when you're in the earth stage of ascension, your physical body changes, your diet changes, where you live changes, which means I'm getting ready to move. The people that you have in your life, where you work, how you make money, that sort of thing. That's the earth stage of of an ascension, and that's everything that's happening in my life now. Rebuilding the foundations. I've started laying the foundations to, well, literally the Art of Creation Foundation. Working on building my future for my gaming and animation studios, the Art of Creation Foundation, and my animated series, the Art of Creation. I've been doing a lot of writing for that, so I'm going to just sit and spend my time writing in that. But also on the side, I'm working on my quantum magnetics and trying to understand quantum loops and uh, quantum magnetics and multi-location jumps and that, because I need to be able to understand it all so that I can put it into the algorithm of my dating app and the biorhythmics of my show and my games, and that means having to clear myself of any energy that I can't be around anyone or anything that causes pain. I have to immediately release it. I have to let it go, because I'm helping a lot of people deal with situations at the moment that are very scary for them, and they're needing to be surrounded by the purest and highest vibration. And when I'm running around, you know, touching those kind of frequencies that were clearly unhealed in me, um, and just allowing myself to be the victim, to just, repeating the same patterns in men, trying to control everything about me, um, and making me uncomfortable, but feeling that, well, if he's the one, it's my duty to um, be by his side, like make him feel like a man, sort of thing. And that's dangerous because I'm a very strong woman. But when it comes to relationships, because I am a very traditional woman, I believe that, it's the woman's, you make your partner feel like a man. You make your woman feel like a woman. Like, you do that. You big them up. You make them, you are their biggest champion, sort of thing. But I think I have a tendency to overdo it to the point of at lowering my standard to meet theirs, and then it coming back on me as guilt and unease, but still putting up with it because, I'm the loyal Scorpio, ignoring the red flags. And this is the last piece of the puzzle, is who's the man in my dreams? Who's the one I've been dreaming of since I was a little girl? Who's the one that, all the indigenous nations and that know is coming, where the union is going to, bring about the reunions of, indigenous tribal nations from all over the world to heal some sort of ancient rift that divided us once we all left Africa, for some reason we need to all be called back together, and the union between me and the man I end up with is going to be responsible for creating the coming back together of parted bloodlines through what it is that we create and, what we develop as a result. And I've been trying to find him, and I tried to look for him in the four that I tried to get to know, and I got it down to 99%. I got the algorithm down to 99% with one of them. But I think where I'm going wrong with the algorithm is I'm trying to pinpoint locations. I wanted people to be able to, when they set the settings for the dating app, I wanted them to be able to, specify specific countries or towns or continents or whatever. Well, more so, I wanted them to be able to say I'm looking for someone in the Chicago area, but I might not be able to offer that. I had set my algorithm according to the prophecy that said that he would either come from the Americas or Africa. He would come, or I mean, it could be Australia, the land of Ace, but I set my algorithm. I already tried looking for the one in the man of my dreams when I was 19 in Australia with my first engagement, and that failed miserably. I got kicked out of the family when they found out I was from a witch bloodline, like a high priestess bloodline, um, because the mother was devoutly religious, and yeah, just long story, blah, blah, blah. So I tried Australia, so I know it's not Australia. So I had set the algorithm for the Americas, is, North, Central, South, or Africa, based on the prophecy, because we all were all in Africa. We all got, to the top, and then something happened between the time we left Africa and landed in the Mediterranean and Middle East. And then when we were in the Middle East and Mediterranean, as to why we ended up in the Americas and like Siberia and Japan and Asia and Polynesia and the Pacific Islands and, Alaska and all of that, we kept dividing and splitting up and dividing and splitting up, and we lost our connection to each other. So I set the algorithm for Africa or the Americas, because the prophecy said that he would come from the land of Ace. So I think I'm pretty sure I can narrow the algorithm down to a state, so you might not be able to settle If you're in Chicago, you might not be able to find the one in Chicago, but you might find them in Illinois. Or if you don't care, if you're open for anything, you can open the algorithm to anyone in America, anyone in North America, or like the world. You might want to um, try your luck at finding love with someone, and it turns out they're from Japan, and it's like, oh my god, I've always wanted to go to Japan, like that sort of thing. Because of how I've set that out, it would make sense if you knew what the dating app was about. So yeah, so it's kind of like the gods were like, you're going to look at this. If you want to get this dating app right, you got to get yourself right and check yourself. So that's what I've been doing. And yeah. So this would be so much easier if I could do maths, but yeah, I spun the wheel of fortune, and the blood, oh, it feels like blood. The paint, you know, spread mostly on four triangles, and yeah, only one of them got filled up almost 100%. It's just, yeah, unfortunate circumstances. And I've just at this point, even though I am working on the dating app and I'm working on the series and the games, and how I want the foundation to look once we're ready to build and all that sort of thing. I'm dealing with personal family things as well at the same time. With I mean, it's not like there's some family healing going on through tragedy, and yeah, so it's making me, because obviously I'm putting all of this into the biorhythmics of the dating app, and the dating app is the one that if I do this right and generate enough interest in it, it's going to provide quite a large amount of money to put into building the children's homes or the academies in Thunder Bay in Ontario, and also in Malta. Now that I've decided to build a second one, I've just had to cut everything back and sort of reshape and remold everything, and that includes being myself, because I kind of would feel like it was false advertising if I was getting it wrong myself but trying to sell it as right for everybody else. I need to get this perfect. I take marriage very seriously. I take relationships very seriously. Marriage is sacred to me. It's, the first sacred ritual that a couple enter into next to the actual engagement. And then, like naming your child, and choosing how you're going to raise them spiritually, and that these are all sacred occult ritual acts, and so I take this stuff very seriously, and I don't want to get this wrong for people. I don't want to mess love up for people, and that means having to get it right for myself, because all scientists experiment on themselves. And yeah, so I've been dealing with that and trying to do a visual mathematics in my head, understanding quantum loops and karmic loops, and cycles repeating and all that sort of thing. And this is what I've come to. So yeah, I thought I was done. Now that I've ascended, God's like, no. Oh, bless, she thinks she's done. Get back down there. Well, I'm back up now, and I know I'm back up because, yeah, Physically, I feel fantastic. My diet has completely changed. My mind has just gone poof. I'm creating again. It feels amazing. So after this is the fire stage, which is, passion, drive, ambition, forward focused, putting plans into action. Um, the foundations that you laid in the earth stage of ascension, um, putting the building on top of it, and getting all the advertising and all that in place to get ready to open the doors, which would be when then you go into the water stage of ascension, which would be, the creativity and the intuition and the emotion and the foresight and um, the finances as well, like making sure that you have enough money to cover everything so that everything runs smoothly. That's earth fire going into water. So yeah, it's so next is putting the plan into action. Well, I had to walk through the fire, walking through the trial by fire, just having to come clean and purify and say, yeah, I hold my hands up. I allowed myself to be a doormat. I'm a doormat and I'm not going to be a doormat anymore. And I was always told that, I was actually told in a dream by St. Joan of Arc that he would be delivered to me like a pizza. Like he'd be dropped at my door. He would be brought to me. He would come to me, like he would be brought to me. I wouldn't have to go anywhere. He would make himself known, make himself present. I was 99% there. But, it is what it is. Anyway, and the reason is it's not, like it's, I can't have, I have to relinquish control. I'm trying to make it all fit, and it's not that I'm trying to make puzzle pieces fit where they don't belong. I'm trying to put the puzzle piece together in a hurry because I know what's coming next. I know what's coming next. If I'm already starting to walk through the fire, I know what's coming next, and I was always told that when I got to the end of the purification process, my phoenix rising moment, which is happening right now. I just put a thing out on X the other day about, my phoenix rising and blah, 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 like, having a phoenix rising moment. That's happening right now, and I was always told that when I went through my phoenix rising moment would be when I would meet the man of my dreams, the man from the prophecy, the man from the land of A's. And I'm already in the fire stage now, and it's like, okay, so where is he? And so I've maybe, tried to rush things or place myself in situations that would force something that wasn't necessarily meant for me or healthy for me or good for me. And the fact that it would have just been repeating the same cycle of me being a doormat. And that's not what I want. That's not what I want in a relationship. I want to be the door. I want to be the door frame. One half of the door frame where him and I are both holding the house up together. Do you know what I mean? So, we work together separately, side by side. So, so that's been quite a lesson, but it is a lesson that has been learned, and now I'm passing this message on for anybody else who's going through the same thing. Why does this keep happening to me? And it's not just, it's all relationships. It's pretty much every relationship I've ever entered into, whether it be platonic, work, relationship, like, my marriages and all of that, like, trying to fit myself where I don't belong, but ignoring the warning signs that were telling me I didn't belong. That's happened in every relationship I've ever been in, other than one. You know, you have to be honest with yourself. So now I'm just not even, I want to get the algorithm right so that when it's ready to start making it, I can just throw it down on my computer and then give everything to the guys that are going to make it all, and get back to writing and that. But I need to get it right in me before I get it right in everybody else. And so this is me just trying to work it all out, because it's using quantum magnetics and it's using biorhythmics. And if you're going to put the two together, if you have to put the two together, you do have to put the two together. They're one half of each scale. That requires perfect balance, and having to remove yourself from anyone or anything that hurts you. It doesn't matter who it is. You can only do it, you can only exist in that frequency if you are perfectly and evenly balanced. And that means, when I'm helping people who are coming to the end of their life and wanting me to record their jumps, or, like with all the kids that I've documented all of their deaths, and, with the serial killers and all that sort of thing, when they want me to record this stuff, they're in the highest vibration because they're pure and innocent. And for me to be able to reach them up there, I need to be able to rise to the occasion. And I can't do that carrying baggage or carrying other people's baggage. So I've been putting other people's baggage back on them. I've been laying their bags down and saying, I'm not carrying this for you anymore. I choose me, and I choose my family, and I choose my future. I choose the light. So, I had to make some sacrifices and cutbacks and let goes, and it was harsh and painful, and I don't ever want to be in that situation again. But I had to do what was right by everybody involved, because it's not a happy place to be in when you're around people who make you want to treat them like that. So it's kind of like killing zombies in a video game. You're doing it for their own good, to put them out of their misery, to put you out of your misery of treating me like this because you're clearly not happy with this relationship. I'm putting you out of your misery and leaving. Like, I'm removing myself from the situation. I don't want to engage in this relationship with you anymore. Friend, colleague, potential lover, whatever. I'm releasing you of the burden of being stressed out, engaging in a relationship with me. So I'm removing myself from the relationship. Even if it's that I'm causing you to gossip about me and hate on me and, that sort of thing. If I'm putting you in that negative space just by being around you, that you're treating me like this, then I need to respect myself and you by removing myself from the situation entirely. It's better for everybody involved. And then we can all take our corners and learn our lessons from it. And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that, had to do that a lot over the last couple of months because I can't be around people who hurt me or be around people who hurt other people around me, because then I take that to the children who then call me to sit with them while they're about to be murdered or drowned or, whatever. And I can't have that and I won't have that. So I choose the light. So I'm not even engaging in relationships anymore because I'm I've tried, I gave it a go. I'm just, maybe I'll just have my baby via IVF and a sperm donor or something but I will get the algorithm right. And I mean, I'm being silly. I know I'm going to, I am ready now. I think I am ready. I know he's coming. I know the prophecy. I trust the prophecy. I don't doubt the prophecy. I've had enough, documented enough dreams to know that even in my dreams, when this new chapter begins and the new life begins, he's with me. It's just that I'm walking into that new chapter now. I'm already stepping into the new chapter, the last chapter. The page has already turned, and I'm just starting to write the next lines of the new book, so to speak, and of the series. Part 2. I've just started writing the first chapter, and he was supposed to be here. So, but therein lies the thing of that I have to give over control. I have to stop, try to control it, because it's messing with the algorithm, and I can't get that wrong when I put the algorithm together for my dating app Spellbound. Use magic to find that one of a kind, because everything I create is based on my real life, and everything I create is real science, real physics, real biomagnetic engineering, real supernatural magic. It's all real. Everything can be scientifically proven. I've proven all my claims, and getting the algorithm to find the man in my dreams is the last, full stop on the ink where I've signed my name on the dotted line. It's the last dot of ink from the pen on the paper. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I just thought I'd share this journey. It's been one hell of a ride. It's not a fairground I ever want to go back to. Thank you very much. I'm done with that. I'm moving on. So, yeah, interesting. So onward and upwards, eh? Ka kite anō. Mwah.